So this is our last lesson in our very brief geography unit, looking at the connection between geography and the economy. We're going to make a closer examination of that aspect. In the last lesson, we just looked at some physical features of the United States, and today we're going to take a look at how geography and economy are intertwined in the United States, particularly early on. The unit right after this is going to be our unit on American colonization. But taking a quick look at this map, we can see that the colonists, when they came over, settled along the Atlantic coast. I'd mentioned in the last lesson that the Appalachian Mountains were a barrier, that the colonists did not cross so quickly. The initial settlements, though, are along the Atlantic coast in natural harbors. We take a look at Boston or New York. Philadelphia is several miles up the Delaware River. Baltimore is all the way up the Chesapeake Bay. All right, so these are areas that are protected with access to the Atlantic Ocean, all right, but protected from storms that might come through. All right, we can also see here the color coding of the map. We've got the New England colonies, the middle colonies, and the southern colonies, both in green and purple here. Geography, or the lay of the land, and its climate are going to play a very important role in the development of these different colonies. You can take a quick look here and see that the New England colonies are in purple, the middle Atlantic colonies are in brown, and the southern colonies are in yellow. Here we have the 5 southern colonies, and you can see things there were largely agricultural. Right? Tobacco, wheat, indigo is a plant that can color cloth, a deep blue, purple, rice. All right, these are agricultural products, and that's because the geography and climate were suited to large-scale cash crop agriculture. Take a moment and jot this down if you need to take notes. But if you've got the flat land and you've got adequate rainfall, you're going to have an agricultural economy in that region. The New England colonies were quite the opposite. All right, they're much further north. The growing season was much shorter. We'll see in a minute. They did not have large areas of flat land. It's hilly, it's rocky. All right, so instead they used other things that were available to them. All right, the water, which means fishing, the amount of lumber in the forests, which meant shipbuilding. All right, and they developed a economy based on manufacturing and trade. The middle colonies are a mix. All right, it's safe to say that where the land was suitable for agriculture, you had agriculture. Where the land was not suitable for agriculture, you had other things develop. You can see here shipbuilding and trade. So taking a quick look at the map again gives us a sense. The southern colonies, flat, long growing season, adequate water, large-scale cash crop agriculture. New England in the purple to the north, not the case. And in the middle colonies, you've got a mix of both the manufacturing and trade from that took place in the New England colonies, or agriculture where conditions permitted in the middle colony. All right, we spoke in the last lesson about the importance of the Mississippi River. Take a quick look at that on the map in the next slide. Now, when we talk about Western farmers, you can see this map does not show the modern-day Western United States. All right, the western edge of the map is the Mississippi River, which actually was our nation's first western boundary in 1776, or after the war ended, 1782. All right, so it was farmers that were west of the Appalachians. The Appalachians are here where I'm running the arrow up and down. So the farmers that were in the Ohio River Valley, for example, would use the Ohio River and, of course, the Mississippi River to float their crops to New Orleans, where they would be put on ocean-going boats for the trip back to the East Coast markets, where they would be sold. Keep in mind the importance of the Mississippi River. All right, that's going to come up later in this course, not too much further into the course. All right, the last piece of geographic information that you need to know for the moment is the fact that we are surrounded by 2 oceans, but it is this fact that has helped isolate us from many events around the world. So if we take a quick look at the slide here, you can see here on this map also happens to show the acquisition of pieces of the United States, which led to our spread from the Atlantic Ocean all the way to the Pacific. It's a large part of what this course is actually about, and we'll talk about how each piece was acquired. But for the moment, you can see the Atlantic's to the east, separating us from Europe. The Pacific is to the west, separating us from Asia, and that really did keep us very much out of world events for quite a number of years. So then, just to sum up, our first item we talked about, the first colonial settlements developed along natural harbors, all right, near the Atlantic coast. Secondly, geography dictated the economy of each region. We talked about the fact southern colonies based on cash crop agriculture, the New England colonies were based on manufacturing, trade, and shipbuilding. The middle colonies were a mixture of both. And lastly, the Mississippi River was a major transportation route for Western farmers to send crops to East Coast markets. That brings us to the end of the geography unit. The next unit we'll be talking about the colonization of the United States.